Let's have an interview with Gerard Boom this week on Tabletop Witchcraft. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tabletop Witchcraft. This week we are going to hang out with Gerard Boom of Shiftinglands. Flew in all the way from the Netherlands, and I'll be honest, we've actually been hanging out for a few days now in the basement studio crafting.
Yep.
And we're doing something a little different. Figured we get some extra footage while you're here.
Yeah, why
have
not?
a little interview and hang out
Sure.
outside. It's been about a month and a half of rain, and we've been in the basement with this gorgeous weather. So here
Yeah,
we are.
it's time to go out and enjoy the sun. So, and I love crafting outside. If you know my videos, a lot of my videos are shot outside. So yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be in the States. It's good to be in your back garden.
Yeah. This will be the first time I'm crafting outside, and really
Okay.
just kind of implementing some of the techniques. I've been really itching to use the short little pencil.
Yes.
And kind of texture some of this pink foam that, I gotta be honest, has been getting a bad rap because you can do a lot with this pencil.
Okay. Now, bad rap, is that positive or negative?
Negative.
Oh,
It gets
okay.
a negative rap, you know, that
Okay.
you can't texture it well, it doesn't hold the texture well.
Okay.
But I don't think you need to go crazy with it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, the pink foam is different as the foam I'm used to working with, but I get my texture in. It's a little bit more delicate, so you have to work a little bit more, carefully, you could say. But if you get the hang of it, it works fine with me. So.
It's kind of soothing, really. You know what I mean? To be able to just sit here and...
Oh yes, it's like
relaxing.
meditation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
we've put together a really fun video for next week where I'm going to make a little series out of this. This will be the first video. We're just hanging out. The next video is actually going to be you crafting a crypt or a mausoleum.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing what you came up with in about a half a day.
yeah.
Unreal.
Well, actually, it was crazy in a way that we talked over the WhatsApp internet about, okay, I will visit you. I would like to do some crafting. What would you like me to do? So you came up with this script, and that was all you said. Well, I want you to build a crypt, if that's possible, for my diorama.
Right.
And actually, I arrived here, of course, with a huge jet lag, but
Yeah.
I believe the same day I started
Yeah.
drawing
Yep.
a few lines, and there was the basic shape, and I thought, well, let's make that. That's an interesting shape, and not knowing from that shape how the final result would look like.
Right.
But in the end, I think it's okay.
Yeah, well, it's more than okay.
Okay.
So it's interesting how you do your layering technique a lot different than how a lot of other people tend to add to a craft. To get layers. You sort of remove from a big block.
Yes, and actually, and that was, I know. I am aware that especially when you are when you only have the thinner foam, like 2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch foam available, you are more or less forced to make segments of your build and gluing them together.
Right.
So to make it more challenging for me, apart from the crazy shape I had in my head for the tomb, I thought, so let's take 2 sheets of 2 inch foam, mesh them together, so I have a solid block, and use my technique by getting all the excess material off. So actually I used the techniques I'm used to. Mind you, I can make wall parts and glue them all together, but for me it's more fun with this foam, as thick as it is or as thin as it is, to work as if it is one block.
Right.
And yeah, I made some flaws, but in the end, I think well, it turned out nicely.
It did. You'll see it in the next video.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, for sure. But I think another thing, it's a challenge, right? Having to work with smaller blocks of foam,
Yeah.
gluing them together. But at the same time, I always preach to everybody layers, layers, layers. It adds a lot of detail.
Yes.
And having that seam, no matter where it is in the block, gives an opportunity for more layers.
Yes. So you have a block. Actually, you have a block of foam which consists out of at least 2 layers, which obviously, if the blocks are not perfect aligned, might give you some kind of seam that is visible. But there are so many ways to conceal that. And even if you know that if you are working very, very secure, very tidy, and the blocks fit perfectly, sure, there are still some things you have to keep in mind, but I think you can almost let the seam disappear. In my build, the seam was visible, but you will see in the video how I solved the problem, and actually it added to the build because it got even more depth.
Right.
Using that workaround.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
And a lot of times, the slightest detail, it makes so much. It adds so much more for someone to see. It breaks up like a long continuous line or a flat surface.
Sure. Yeah.
One small, piece. So
Something that sticks out or that falls back. So yeah, I actually, while we talk like this about the problem stacking blocks together, you could actually do a video where you show, okay, so here's the seam. Obviously, it's visible. I can think of maybe 3 or 4 ways to hide it.
to hide it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be a cool thing. We will brainstorm about that.
Yeah.
You will have to make the video because
Right.
I'm away.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a
Yeah.
good idea for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hiding corners, seams, something that would be hard to hide, right? Like on a wall. But there's ways of doing it.
Yeah. Well, you talk about corners. So this is a very thin. It's what is 1 inch plus.
About an inch, yeah, a little over.
But you see, this is this is a shape, but it's cut out of one piece, so there are no seams whatsoever, right? So and that is what I like, building out of blocks to minimize the amount of possible seams that could be in that build, right? Yeah.
So, that brings up another good thing that I've heard you mention in the past couple of days, and it's how your brain works. When it comes to when you get an idea of something you want to build, you don't jump right into all the details. I want all these little, cutouts and this and that. You see a shape.
Yes.
And you just start with that shape.
Yes, that's exactly how I work, but also how I try to explain it to people. If for instance, if I do a workshop and we have people that bring photos along of a project that they want to build, and yesterday I gave the example of a town hall, a medieval town hall. Now in the Netherlands, in Europe, there are a lot of very old buildings, and the fun part of these buildings is that they are full loaded with all kinds of small little details and ornaments and little towers and little whatever. So I can imagine that if you look at a building like that, knowing that you have or want to build that, that you instantly get lost in all the details, because you get an overload of all these details, which actually makes the building looks interesting, and probably that's the reason why you want to build it, right? So my idea is, okay, there we have that building, now try to blend out all the details, everything that sticks out. So you have flat surfaces, and then suddenly that town hall becomes, oh, this is a rectangle block with a rectangle block on top. And that little tower there, oh, that's a 6 or 8 sided cylinder. and the roof is okay. It's like from the front. It's a triangle, but
Yeah.
there it goes like you see. Then you see the shapes, and then the very simple cut the shapes,
Yeah.
put them together, not gluing them together maybe yet, but put them together, and from there you start building up your project.
And that's it. I mean, it simplifies things because it gets overwhelming.
Yes.
It gets very overwhelming. You know, the airship that I did, right?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, that project. But it's, you know, there's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And to try and practice some of these techniques that you're talking about, some of the stuff you'll see in the next video, I would recommend getting a block 4 or 5 inches square and working with that and just sitting outside with a pencil and perfecting some of the techniques you see in that video, like the stonework.
Yes.
Because it really is fun and you get such a great look really quick. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you can work in layers. So once you have the rectangular block, you can say, well, I want a window here, and then you can cut for your layers and make different layers for that window, which again, you'll see in next week's video.
Yes, and actually, I did send you a lot of pictures of stuff
I saw
made.
those. I didn't mention to you I saw them.
No,
yeah.
okay, good. So maybe it's an idea every now and then if it fits in this video because of the topic we are discussing. I was thinking about working in layers. I sent you this picture of 6 different walls that were made by 6 different people where I explained the techniques working in layers. And actually it is 3 flat sheets stacking on top of each other, cutting out the openings for doors and windows in a way that you get a lot of depth in those 3 layers. And before you start building your Minas Tirith or Hogwarts or whatever, take 3 sheets, look at the photo. I think he will blend the photo in.
I'll put the photo in. Yeah, you'll see it.
And then you get an idea. And if you just take 1 or 2 hours just to try and reproduce something like that, then it all makes sense. And from that moment on, you don't have to practice anymore. Then you actually can start building.
Then you know it.
Then you know it.
So, and that's interesting because when you first showed me that picture,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, Gerard, you did a great job on this. And then you told me that you didn't do it.
No.
It was like the students or the
The
people.
students did it, and know that there are people that are experienced and there are newbies.
And they all looked awesome.
They all look awesome.
They all looked awesome.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got my inspiration while we were doing this.
Yeah.
It was just to work on, and granted, I didn't even take the time to layer it, to be able to put windows in it. I just really want to jump right in and try the brick technique. But this is about the size of each one of those walls, roughly.
Yeah, well, actually, it's very simple. It's like a wall, at least 1 door and 1 window, preferably 2. And I guess the photo explains it all.
It does, yeah.
Because, well, the whole idea is that if you have a window which is a specific size, you start with a larger opening than the window, and the layer underneath has the same opening, but it falls back a bit. So you see the edges, and the next one again falls back a bit, but has the exact opening where you can put, in this case, the MDF window in. And that adds, again, a lot of layer. Now imagine you then in front of the wall, the base of the wall, the foundation is sticking out. And maybe on the left or on the right, you have a buttress wall. So if you add that up, you already have 5 layers.
A lot of depth.
A lot of depth.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm looking forward to doing that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you coming back.
But we already discussed it, and the next time, if we do it, I think we will do it. I said, well, mind you, I might stay a little bit longer, so we can make a bigger project, or well, we can make more projects.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask a couple other random questions.
Sure. Yeah.
How about gaming? What's your take on that?
You mean like the D&D and tabletop
Well, I mean
world?
anything.
Or?
You had mentioned to me earlier that you had a lot of board games. You used to like
Yes.
playing a lot.
Yeah. Oh, just let it fly
We're,
away. It's
we're losing them all.
it's
Yeah.
foam,
Foam.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really gone now. Okay, it's okay.
We'll find
No,
it.
anyway, no. Actually, before I started, my whole career was working as a HR
Yeah.
consultant, all kinds of different companies, and my last real job was working at a high school as
Yeah.
a consultant. A lot of fun, but during that time, I also expanded my hobby and started just for fun a little web shop, blah 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 blah, and
Shiftinglands.com.
yeah,
Sorry,
okay, yeah.
you can say it.
But and that went so well that 1 month before COVID hit Europe, I resigned. So and started my own business. But I know the question was about gaming. Why am I telling this?
Yeah.
I'm telling this that up until the point that I stepped out of my regular job, I was a hardcore card gamer, playing board games and card games.
Yeah.
And I still have a huge collection. I stopped counting when I hit 1,000 board card games.
Oh, wow.
So I have a room just with
Yeah.
how do you cupboards or
Cupboards. Yeah. Yeah. Shelves. Cupboards.
shelves full of games, because I still love them so much. However, if you have your own business, I came to realize that if you work for a company, you have to work hard.
Yeah.
If you have your own business, you never stop working.
Yeah.
So since then, I rarely touch a board game.
Yeah.
I way back, I played D&D. Was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of invitations to come back at the table, and I really would like to do it, but I have so much to do.
Yeah.
And my son is also in the tabletop scene, so every now and then he tries me to. I played Warhammer.
Okay. Yeah.
That was in the last millennium, right? So that's
Yeah.
a long time ago. But if I pick that up again, regardless what kind of tabletop game, it gives me 5 minutes during the game, and then I start to be distracted and think, I should build this for the game, or I should build that for the game for better cover, or so. In the end, I don't play that much anymore.
Yeah.
I love to craft. So
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, it's before 7 o'clock in the morning every day, and even with your jet lag, you're up and ready to craft.
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm totally over it now.
Yeah.
So
Right.
And
That's
I
good.
will keep on crafting whole day and tomorrow as well, right?
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh,
I got a little something planned for you. A little triple take as well tomorrow. So.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it's been great. I really appreciate it. Again, a little crafting tomorrow, but you have a day off, so we'll enjoy a day.
Yeah.
To see the state of Maine a little bit, hopefully. And
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then until next time, we'll.
Well, apart from the fact that we already discussed about me possibly visiting the US again, visiting you again, we also discussed a few things like maybe if there are enough people interested, we could organize something somewhere, probably in Maine, doing a workshop.
A workshop, yeah.
And another thing is that although there is a little bit of water between us, living on the other side of the pond, we still could do some collaboration.
Oh yeah,
projects.
I think we're definitely going to be doing that for sure.
Yeah,
And we've done quite a few, you know.
Yeah, we did the haunted house.
Yeah, the airship.
The airship.
You made a lot of pieces for that.
Yeah.
But that makes me a good point. Leave a comment down below if anyone would be interested in coming to a workshop. I don't know. I mean, Maine's kind of far north, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We can figure that out. I mean, it's as simple as that. We plan it, and probably, if everything goes well, I might be here next year. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that sounds good, Gerard.
yeah, absolutely, it does.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. And yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say we'll see you soon. No, I stick around for 2 more days.
More
So
days.
we will have a blast of a time. And but then again, I already look forward to visit you again. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
All right, Gerard. Thanks. And that about wraps it up.
Okay.
So I guess until
Take
next
care.
time,
Until next time. Bye bye.
see you around.
Ba-dum, 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 bum, bum.
That's good.